What's up, everyone? Today in this video, I'm going to be going over a breathwork and nervous system masterclass. I'm going to be giving you a full download that you are not going to get anywhere else online, and it is in honor of me and my brother launching our Coherence Breathwork app that's now live on the App Store. You can hit the link below to download it. And what I'm going to be going over here today is going to be concepts and things that you're going to be able to apply to the practices in the Breathwork app, but just the practices in your everyday life that's going to change the way that you operate your physical vessel. It's going to change the code in your brain, and it's going to change your life. Breath is the gateway. Breath is the key. You can change your circumstances. You can heal from a chronic disease. You can heal from chronic pain. You can heal from a chronic injury. I have now helped over 50 people heal in the past 6 months since I quit my job, which is why I'm so fucking passionate about getting into it today. So we're going to get into it today before I'm going to have to, let's go. Okay, so this was an old breathwork. This is not. Maybe I'll post that video one day in 20 years. But we're going to be going over some high-level concepts that you're not going to hear anywhere else. You can click off the video now if you're not ready. I ask that you be present. Turn the phone off. Turn yourself on Do Not Disturb. Lock in, because some of these codes are truly going to change your life. And it's not that you have to take notes. You're not going to have to take notes because the good stuff sticks. And the good stuff is going to stick on a physiological level, on a psychological level, and on a neurological level. Psychological level is going top down. Neurological level is going bottom up, bottom of the pyramid up. And it is going to hardwire itself into your motherboard today. We are going to change the way you breathe. We're going to change the way you operate. Everything with health starts and ends with the breath. Your first breath in this life is an inhale, and you are granted the gift of free will. Your last breath in this life is an exhale, and it is the purest expression of acceptance and surrender. Those two yin yang, your willpower and your acceptance, those two things, rest and stress, those two things, that is how you create truth in this life. That's how you create peak performance. Train really hard when you're supposed to train really hard. Train really easy when you're supposed to train really easy. Recover really hard when you're supposed to recover really hard. That is the key to peak performance and transcending your limitations. So let's get into it. First thing, ultimately, is that your CNS is your brain spread throughout your entire body. Think of it this way. Your brain, your nervous system is like the Amazon River. We've got one central channel in the Amazon River, one central. And then we have the peripheral nervous system spread throughout the entire body. This nervous system is your brain. It is actually acting and behaving the same way as your brain. That's why pain feels so real. And that's why pain has such a powerful effect on your body. And that's why fear has such a powerful effect on your brain. Your nervous system is interwoven in the fascia of your body. You are living in a sock of fascia. The entire body is covered in sock. You go into the doctor's office and you see the little anatomy picture on the wall of the muscles and stuff. They've deleted the fascia from that image. And this is the missing link. All your trauma is stored in the fascia. Your fear is stored in the fascia. Your nervous system is woven through the fascia. All of your pain and injuries, chronic adhesions and tightness, that is fascia related. The muscles are really dumb. If you had no electricity in a muscle, it would just be a flab of meat. The nervous system and the fascia is what creates that electrical current that keeps everything tense. And so when you begin to learn that tension creates thoughts, and then thoughts create more tension, you can break the cycle of suffering. You can break the cycle of pain or injury. And that is what we're going to get into. Ultimately, I'm going to give you the keys how to break that cycle so that you don't have to live in disease. You don't have to live in pain. That's what we're all here for, right? So the Amazon River is that central channel. And then we've got the peripheral nervous system spread throughout the entire body. Now, You're also 60+% water, more if you're an athlete. What does this mean? This means that you are vibrating like a sack of water. We're meat sacks here. And if you're a meat sack and you're full of water, then you are going to be vibrating with the environment around you. And this environment is extremely important. That's why you can't out willpower your environment. And that's why the 5 people you surround yourself with most is the most important thing to your success and your trajectory in life. Now, why? Because you're a vibrational being. You are vibrating at the subatomic level. All of these particles are vibrating, proven. And you can source me if you want in the comments, but that's proven. Everything's vibrating. We think it's solid. We think these things are solid, but they're not at the subatomic level. The indication, the consequences of this is that ultimately your vibration is going to have a severe impact on your state, your thoughts, your emotions, your ability to manifest, your ability to see what it is that you desire to see in your life. And you can sum it all up in that your body is a musical instrument. Your body is a musical instrument, and your central nervous system is a tuning fork. You are tuning your musical instrument. The nervous system is the musical instrument tuning fork. What are you tuning yourself to? And who are you letting and what are you letting tune you? Is it shitty music? Is it people that you're, low vibe people? The vibe is real. And so what is beautiful about breathwork is that you can tune your vibe and you can keep that vibe very high and you can keep that vibe very resilient. And you can also make that vibration less reactive. So if someone says something mean to you, you don't react as harshly. You stay in your center. You stay on the center line. Now, battery's going to die here in a moment, but I'm going to ignore that. I don't know why I drew this stupid stick figure. I didn't need to do that. I was excited. We're going to get into now how do you tune it and how do you keep it tuned and how do you eliminate reactivity so that you can be stoic. All right. I'm going to draw this out. Forgive me, but boom. Most people are living as automatic transmissions. Automatic transmissions, meaning you have drive, neutral, reverse, or park as your gears in your system of your body. And the way that we've been grown is to not get we don't have any understanding of how to deal with these gears. We have 2 modes. We've got drive and then we got park. We got fight, flight, and we got freeze. Reverse is when we're all spiraling negative, you could say, but it's really just irrelevant here. And neutral is kind of where you're in that languishing, freezing kind of state where you're not really doing anything. So we're either usually driving or we're parking, which is why so many people are stressed out chronically, why there's so much chronic disease, why people are having cardiovascular disease, and why people can't heal from the injuries they get, and why they sabotage themselves, because we all are in drive from 8 a.m. to 3:30. I know at 3:30 on the dot, I'm suddenly like, fuck my life. Everything is trying to kill me. I hate myself and I want to go put my head in the sand. 3:30 for me. That is because when I am drive, and then suddenly I don't have any more fuel left, I just stall the fuck out in the afternoon and the program kicks into my mind. The program's like all of the negative code that I don't want running in my motherboard suddenly comes to the surface and starts screaming really loud and makes me feel like I'm unworthy and everyone hates me. And I know that people feel the same way because it's easier to override the program and believe in yourself when you have energy, but when you don't have energy, then suddenly you feel bad. And that's when you start procrastinating. That's when you fall into vices. That's when you start self-sabotaging, is this like anxious fatigue syndrome that is really just a consequence of you going full gas and then blowing the fuse and having to park it for a bit. What breathwork does, and I'm just going to switch the battery right now so that I can just give this to you guys. Okay, we are so back and we're going to keep it moving. Automatic transmissions, drive neutral reverse. That's where 99.9% of people are living. We don't want to be like them. We don't want to be automatic transmissions. What we want to be are manual transmissions. So, manual transmissions. We got reverse. We got first gear. We got second gear. We got third gear. We got fourth gear. We got fifth gear, and we got sixth gear. Now, this is how we want to be living. This is what we want to be doing, is we want the ability to use our breath as the stick shift of our life. We want to manually shift up before a workout, manually shift down after a workout to recover and get back into rest and digest. We want to be able to shift down before a meal so we can absorb more nutrients and recover better. We want to shift down before bed so that we can capitalize on the first 90-minute sleep cycle where the majority of growth hormone gets released. That's what we want to be able to do. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do in a moment. This was huge for me. Understanding a few codes that I'm about to go over and being able to shift accordingly in my life so that I can ride the waves, I can ride the stress. If it's a hangover, if it's a stressful situation, if it is something where I am just needing more energy and I'm exhausted and I need to kick into that sixth gear, I now can do that, and so can you. So let's get the fuck into it. $3:30 p.m. people, be wary, be aware during the afternoon program, sticking the fangs in, trying to get you to do some nonsense that you know you don't want to do. I know, I'm not a saint. All right, so when we want to learn how to shift up, we want to go up and we want to get into a more activated state before a workout, get some more energy before a business meeting, get some more energy in the afternoon when that program does kick in. This is how we want to do it. Very, very simple. Inhales are longer than exhales. Inhales are also fuller than exhales. And inhales are also faster. They're longer, they're faster, and they're fuller. So, longer, faster, fuller. Inhales. If we're going faster up, faster inhales, longer inhales, and fuller. And when I mean fuller, I'm talking about circumferentially. We want to be breathing. We want to be breathing 360. So we want to be breathing as if there's a nose on our sternum, out in the front, but we also want to be breathing out on the sides, and we want to be breathing back on the back. We want to be as if there's like think of it like a swim buoy around a noodle or whatever the F they're called, swim ring. Imagine that that's around your chest, and when you're breathing, you're stretching it circumferentially. That is what I mean by fuller. So more full and around, and the lungs are actually full. And we'll get into what the implications of that are, but this is going to increase your heart rate. This is going to increase your skin temperature. This is going to increase your fight or flight. Handwriting is so good. This is going to increase your energy. This is going to dilate your pupils. This is going to constrict your blood vessels. Constrict. This is going to put you into fight or flight type state. This is activation, fight or flight, sympathetic type of a state. And we're going to be going over the states here soon in a way that all these other Instagram influencers have yet to even grasp in their minds. So stick with me, you're going to get some game. This is dope. I love this. This is what healed me, actually, is loading up, because what you're doing when you're doing this sort of breath work is loading up on resources into the body, oxygenating the body, increasing the cellular voltage. Every single inhale, you are inhaling hundreds of thousands of negative and positive electrons. I don't want this to go over your head, but we're swimming through a sea of electrons. You just can't see it. We can only see 0.0035% of the electromagnetic visible spectrum. So we are electromagnetic beings. We're basically portable electronic devices. We're basically iPhones, and we need to charge, which is why you need to touch the bare earth. But you are also the electrical receiver of the potential of your environment. What does that mean? That means that you are charging with every breath. You are charging your body. You are charging your cells with every breath. You're not just getting energy from oxygen and nitrogen and all this other stuff that is in the air that does help with the function of the cells. In my belief, the main driver of the cells is the electromagnetic drivers, which are the negative electrons. We're all negatively charged. You're breathing in these negative ions. These negative ions are going on the electron transport chain that goes into the cells, which is increasing your cellular membrane potential, which is meaning your cellular voltage. You're becoming more electrical, which means that your cells are getting 40 miles to the gallon instead of 20 miles to the gallon, and they're able to replicate better, which means that you're able to heal quicker, which means that you are able to shed your injuries like a snakeskin, because parts of your nervous system are only 8 months old. Your gut lining is only 3 weeks old. You're literally shedding skin all the time because you are regenerating. This is breath work. This is the thing that people don't get. You can upgrade yourself from the core upgrade by increasing the ability to regenerate. Increasing the ability to regenerate. Your body is healing perfectly right now. We can just increase the voltage. We can give our body the right inputs. Those inputs are going to allow us to heal quicker, to perform better, to focus better, to have more energy. It's probably why you guys are wondering, is this kid on something? I'm on air, bro. I am on air. Next slide. This is also actually something that I want to touch on with the sympathetic stuff, is like I healed myself with that Wim Hof type style, longer inhales and exhales, and that was great until it wasn't, until I had a huge crash out, because essentially what I did was I was living in fight or flight. I was healing because I had more energy, because my body got inputs that it had never gotten before that allowed me to heal, but then I was pretty stressed out, burning out every now and then, and just not operating at peak. It was as if my consciousness was a broken glass panel, just like yeah, you can still kind of see through it, but I'm just actually stressed the fuck out all the time. I'm healing, but I'm stressed. And when I healed myself, I was able to train full time. I was gunning for, the US Nationals that winter. I was a cross-country skier in college, so I've always been a breather. You've been a breather as well. Let's go. Fuck yeah, we're breathers together. Everyone's breathing. I concussed myself doing that type of breath work, activation, sympathetic, Wim Hof style breath work. Concussed myself by inhaling, holding my breath, squeezing my muscles, and I passed out and slumped over on a bench, and I smacked my head on a metal bench, and I was concussed. And I thought that the way out of that was to continue doing the Wim Hof type breathing. But I was just suffering from autonomic dysregulation, which basically means that your motherboard's fucking fried. And I had to reconcile with that for a bit, and I couldn't understand why I wasn't healing from this concussion. And what I did was this. So I learned to shift down. I was living life in third, fourth, fifth, sixth gear. I learned how to shift from sixth to first on command, entering my parasympathetic state, zone of genius, zone of healing, zone of creativity, zone of power, zone of connection to God, connection to the universe. That's all parasympathetic. And I learned to shift down. So how do we shift down? Shorter inhales, smaller inhales, and longer exhales. Longer. And you can visualize it like that if you so choose. So our inhales to shift down, to go from sixths to first. We want to have slow inhales, slow, and less full inhales. These two things are going to help you a lot. I have my PowerPoint presentation here that I'm kind of going off of, but ultimately it's pretty basic. I'm not a rocket scientist. I just figured out how to breathe. Slow and less full, and then long. And if you really want to shift down, then humming on the exhales. And frankly, we want to basically, like, I'm going to get into this actually in a second, but to shift down, longer exhales and inhales. This looks like 4 seconds in, 8 seconds out. Now, the thing again that I was talking about where we're talking about fullness, I could do or I could do think of it from a standpoint of if my body running from a predator, how would it breathe? It would probably be like shifting up, energy, go, run away. And then how would my body breathe if I had just escaped the predator? It would be like, oh, okay, we lived. Hallelujah, we lived. I get to go pick some berries tomorrow. Fuck yeah. And that's the basic. I'm not gonna harp on this very much. You can do Buteyko breathing. I'm gonna get into that in a sec. Physiological sigh, where you are breathing Now, this is where people kind of get messed up. And this is where they don't take it past this step, for the most part. Online, these health influencers have convinced you that the sun doesn't cause cancer anymore. The sunscreen causes cancer. Well, you thought you were getting cancer either way. So all these health influencers are fear peddling, and I got a bone to pick with them. Don't believe in anything that makes you weaker, ever. Moving on. So the number one way, think of it this way. And this is the basis of my vortex method breathing. If we just ran away from a predator, our breath is like this, kind of doing this. Whoo. Now, if we were to downshift, we would start doing this, little less full, little less full, little slower even, slow, all the way until we are barely breathing at all. And we're just barely breathing. That is the vortex method right there. That is the nervous system vortex method. You are channeling, funneling all of your stuff towards this. Now, what is this? Over here on this side, on the lefty, but this is our intention. Intention. Intention is to heal, let's say. My intention is to heal. Well, we just cultivated all this energy as if we were running from a predator. But now we're circulating it, and then we are concentrating it all the way into our intention. And what is the through line of this intention? The intention, oh yeah, fuck yeah, that was satisfying, is our attention. Attention. Attention is the currency of God. Attention is the number one highest ROI thing you can do or learn to, it's the skill you can learn to hone. It's the number one thing. Now, what is inherently, innately part of attention? Awareness. Simple. Awareness. So really, we can only be attentive to what our intention is if we are aware. So we have to become aware. You have to still the lake's water before you can drop a stone in it and see the ripples clearly register. If you have a crazy lake, you could drop a brick in and it would not get registered by the universe. You have to still it, and you can still it through breathwork and meditation. This is where people kind of don't, this is why this is different than the Wim Hof. The Wim Hof is, let me just fucking do this. Wim Hof is this, hold your breath, this, hold your breath, this, you get it. And what happens usually is people go like this, and then they're up here, and they go about their day. And they're in sympathetic, and they're bleeding energy, they're hemorrhaging energy, there's so much charge in the nervous system that it's like, how the fuck am I supposed to be relaxed? How am I supposed to heal from that? The healing is innately part of getting more energy. That what you do with the Wim Hof, that's what healed me, yes. But that is also what ended up screwing me and almost killing me a couple times, which I'll get into in another video potentially. Not done yet, not done. Just buckle up. Okay, so with this vortex breath, what you end on with the vortex breath is barely breathing at all. Ancient yogic techniques, ancient yogic philosophy is that the less you breathe, the longer you live. And so what these yogis do, Kumbhaka and other techniques that are similar, is think of this like that CO2 level, burning level. Let's just change this freaking pen. Expo, toxic, and lame. This is your CO2 level in your body. Now, when this CO2 level, when you're breathing, usually what happens is people are breathing up here. We're breathing up here. Over-breathing, chronically hyperventilating, taking years off your life, making it so you can't heal, keeping you stressed out, and shitty, not ideal. Ideal is a bit closer here, where maybe we're tapping that CO2 level on an operating standpoint. That's pretty ideal. What's even more ideal, and if you understand, like, I mean, inhale up, exhale down. Hopefully you guys understand that. This is my first whiteboard video. Cut me some slack. So if this is our CO2 level, this is the CO2 level, meaning that if you were to exhale, hold, and then hold until it kind of burns, and then you were to inhale, and then you were to exhale again as slowly as you can, and you were to get to that place where it's kind of like you want to breathe in, that little Want to breathe in level? That's the CO2 level. Ancient yogis were pretty obsessed with how little can I breathe and just tap that level. Can I keep this tiny and perfect? And this is, I would say that I breathe like that on the reg, but the goal is to make this circle as small as possible, which is why if you've listened to any of my guided breathwork meditations, after the vortex breath, I tell people try to breathe a tiny little circle, a tiny little wedding ring in your head like this. Inhale, exhale, as slow as possible. Because when we're breathing, let's say we're breathing up and then exhale. That's our little circle. And we're on the CO2 line. That's going to put you in a serious meditative state. It is going to keep your body in a homeostasis. It is going to keep your CO2 levels healthy and your oxygen levels healthy. It is also going to 0 point your consciousness and get you to a place where you are super relaxed, super transcending of your body, your mind, your spirit, and just like, bam, meditation. So, what most people are, I'm just visualizing it a different way. Let's say this is the circle. This is like your lips, and then that's some homie's nose. That's so bad, bro. Little inhale, little exhale. Little inhale, little exhale. Okay, that's good. That's over. That's super over. Okay, most people are not doing a nice little circle. That's also, let me be clear, we want it to be a perfect circle. You're breathing as slowly as you are exhaling. Inhaling as slowly as you are exhaling. Super slow, super in control. Perfect sphere. Perfectly in control. Consciously following the breath. You are aware of the breath, and then you are aware that you are aware of the breath. Most people are up here, having these types of breaths all day. You keep breathing more because you're stressed out. It becomes this hyperventilation cycle. So one of the best things you can actually do is hold your breath. Let the CO2 level rise, which will teach your body, calm down. Calm down. And this is coming from me, who was not a calm person growing up. And I seem not calm now, potentially, but I will have you know that I truly am in control here. I'm in my nervous system state. And now I can speak even slower. Now I'm more chill. I like being amped up today. I'm amped up today because we've launched our Coherence Breathwork app. Check it out in the link below. Okay, I'm not done. I am not done. Most people, when they're over breathing, hyperventilating, are going to be stuck in this upper quadrant. Hypoarousal. Hypoarousal, fight or flight. Super reactive, burned out, injured, sick, scared, fear. The amount of fear in the body is going to equate to the amount of thoughts that you have in the mind. All of your thoughts are due to unfelt feelings. So what happens is people are not feeling their feelings, they're stuck in their head, and they're breathing like crazy. And they have, as one of my coaches said, they have escaped up into the mind, and they've built a wall around their heart so that they don't get hurt again, but that ends up essentially being a prison for them. Shitty place to be. We don't like that. Now, the other box, hyperarousal. Hyper over. Hypo is below. hypoarousal is not the like blissed out, rest and digest zone of genius. I'm having creative thoughts. I understand the secrets of the universe and I know exactly who the fuck I am. I'm not going to let anyone tell me who the fuck I am because I know who I am. I'm talking about you're frozen. You can't change the way you're thinking. You can't change your state. You don't know what to do. You're starting to feel shitty. Life is closing in on you. You are and you are unable to respond. So hyperarousal is like hyperreactivity. Hypoarousal is like low responsibility. Both are shitty. Chances are if someone is chronically hyperventilating, they are going to be banging their heads between this ceiling and this floor. And this is what causes chronic stress. This is what compounds disease. This is what keeps people from healing their injuries. This is why there are people in the workplace or in life that are just like so unaware, so just besides themselves, unable to be compassionate, unable to be empathetic, unable to like converse like a normal person because their nervous system is literally fucking fried. Where we want to be, and I'm going to switch the colors here, get swifty, is the beautiful window of tolerance. Now, this is the zone. This is your zone. You are in your perfect state. You're able to reason. Your emotions are not out of freaking control. You're able to be in flow state here. This is associated with alpha brainwave states. This is associated with gamma. This is associated with delta. Theta is down here. Beta is up here. You don't want to be in beta. Beta is hunter brain, but in the modern society that just manifests as shitty, anxious brain that escapes from the feelings in the body and goes to doom scrolling, goes to weed, goes to porn, goes to escapism, goes to podcasts, goes to music, goes to calling your friend on the phone because you don't want to feel the feelings in your body. And then your thoughts are like, I don't want to feel this way. So then you look for an outlet. Beta is super beta. Unless you actually have a control over the beta, don't be in beta. Gamma is like peak state. That's like pro athlete at the Olympics. Unless you have lived and loved and made a home in window of tolerance, we don't need to be chasing gamma yet. So, window of tolerance, ideal. What we want to be doing here is increasing the ceiling of the window of tolerance. This ceiling we want to be pushing up. Because if we push it up, then suddenly we can skillfully tap into gamma and beta, skillfully, like a fucking samurai, and own our shit and be productive and be in flow state and have creativity and execute and be just action in a state of control and not hyperreactivity, not craziness. But only if we train this ceiling. And the way that you train this ceiling is things like ice bath, things like sauna. Training this ceiling is going to increase your focus. It's going to sharpen the focus. It's going to sharpen your reaction time. It's going to increase your power output. It's going to increase your speed. It's going to increase your strength. This ceiling here is game changer. Now, the problem is those all sound nice, but 99% of people do not need to be training their ceiling. They already are training the fuck out of their ceiling, chain snoozing zens, ripping caffeine, ice bath, sauna, work, stress, iPhone, blue light toxicity, never grounding, never getting enough sunlight, drinking shitty water. The burden of toxins on the body is making the body go like, what the fuck, bro? We don't need to be doing any more strengthening parasympathetic strengthening, it's called. What we do need to be doing, and where all the gains are, literally all the gains, all the gains are in strengthening parasympathetic strengthening. This looks like making the floor of the window of tolerance go farther down. So this is going to be a game changer for you, and this floor can be done with the breath work, longer exhales and inhales for one, remaining calm under pressure, that's parasympathetic strengthening, lowering our central nervous system reactivity, healing and creativity, zone of genius, all that kind of stuff that I said, that is all in parasympathetic strengthening. And with the breath work, we can get to a place where we're actually 0 point consciousness. What does that mean? That means you have no perception. It means you can't feel your body. You're just floating through the ether with your eyes closed, like deepest states of meditation. You're awake, but you are not fully like there. You are elsewhere. You are tapped in. You are in your body, in your mind, but you don't feel it. You're not feeling bodily sensations. You are floating. Float tank. However, conversely, sympathetic strengthening, that's when you're super high at perception. So when you're working out, you really feel your body, you feel the bodily sensations. We want to be doing parasympathetic strengthening. Why? Because train really hard when you're supposed to train really hard, recover really hard when you're supposed to recover really hard. If all of yous are going ape shit in the gym, on the computer, solopreneur, making a bunch of money, or you're an exec, or you're an athlete, or you're a single mom, or you're someone who's dealing with an injury or disease or something, likely are already stressed the fuck out. Truly, 20 to 30 minutes of parasympathetic strengthening, which looks like you sitting in the shit, sitting in the feelings, meditating, sitting there and dealing with whatever it is coming up, and learning to let go of it. Like I had the attention and intention, all that stuff, being aware, where am I placing my attention? Am I placing my attention on the breath? Perhaps I'm placing my attention on my heart. Perhaps I'm placing my attention on a sincere wish for myself. May I be completely free from stress and suffering. Maybe I am placing my attention on a visualization in my mind of my body being completely cured, completely healed, winning the Olympic gold medal, landing that business deal. That's the game. That is the game. Parasympathetic strengthening, because inevitably your monkey brain is going to try to take you out of parasympathetic. It's going to try to get you, well, what about that thought? What about this? Fear in the body, latent fear in the body, keeping you from your potential. We want to always be recognizing, releasing, relaxing, re-smiling, and returning, which I'll go over in another video. But for now, this is the game. We don't want to be stuck in like lethargic, depressed, frozen, languishing shit down here. And we don't want to be stuck in crazy drive mode, brute force, anxious, unaware, unempathetic mode either. All right. If you were to take one thing away from this video, it would be that the longer and the fuller your inhales and exhales, the more sympathetic fight or flight you're going to be. The smaller, smoother, slower your exhales and inhales, the more rest and digest, parasympathetic you're going to be. Or you can now use these two forces to shift yourself up or down accordingly to your life so that you can live in your power, you can shift accordingly. Thank you all for listening to this video. Click the link below. Just launched this Breathwork app that's going to give you all these codes, and you can now apply what I just showed you into the Breathwork app so that you know exactly how to use the tools, exactly how to shift accordingly, and then eventually you're going to embed and imprint and hardwire this muscle memory of breathwork into your body, your mind, your spirit, so that you are breathing powerfully on a second-by-second basis throughout every day.
you are decreasing your breaths per minute, you are decreasing your beats per minute, which is going to allow you to live longer, have more energy, have more centered focus and awareness. And that is the game. That is going to help you immensely with whatever you're dealing with in this life. If you are dealing with a chronic injury, chronic disease, chronic health issue, feel free to DM me, book a call, DM me on Instagram, and I will be more than happy to point you in the right direction, have a conversation with you absolutely free, give you everything I got for a good 20, 30 minutes, and see if ultimately you are on the right track or not. I'm happy to do that. I know how shitty it feels when you have an injury or disease or something going on and everyone's telling you this thing and that thing, and it's overwhelming. There's a lot of fear, and maybe you're afraid of re-injuring yourself or taking the wrong supplements or doing the wrong things. That is all really, really important to weed out, because ultimately you have to believe in every single thing you're doing. Your beliefs are the closest thing to magic in this life. If you can believe in what you're doing, you can ascend, you can release, you can let go of the things that are holding you and your body back, and you can transcend yourself, your issue, your pain, and become and step into the greatest version of you. So thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Hit the link below, and I will see you for the next video. Cheers.